this is, can you see it, Kate? Do you see an aerial? Yes, I see a thumbs up. Now I'm a bit more secure. There you see an aerial of Amsterdam near the Wester Church, which is on the right. The annex is a small building behind the building on street level, and the museum is built around it. It's built around the former hiding place of Anne Frank, her family and friends. They hid there during Nazi persecution between 1942 and 1944, August 1944. They were arrested, and only Otto Frank, the father of Anne Frank, survived the prison system. Here you see it on ground level, the same building, and behind the tree, between the tree and the red thing, lies the actual building where they were in hiding. Anne Frank wrote most of her diary there, and the diary was published in 1947, and in almost 10 years' time it became very famous, and that led to public interest in the hiding place that continues until now. And weren't it for the corona pandemic, we would probably have again about 1.3 million visitors last year, which we had in 2019. We are here to discuss digital tools of Holocaust monuments and places of remembrance. And in my opinion, today's technology is the best solution for representations that we have long wished for. I illustrate this with the road to the current digital 3D and VR presentations of the Anne Frank House. People have been wanting to visit the place since the early 1950s. And here you see a photograph of 1958. This is in front of the house. It was not a museum yet, and it was almost torn down. On the left, you see Johannes Kleiman. He is one of the helpers of the people in hiding, and he is helping two people who wanted to visit the house in. Here they are talking on the attic of the hiding place. The idea of making a representation of the hiding place or the Anne Frank house as a whole came from popular demand, actually. People wanted simply to get an idea of the layout of the hiding place since the publication of the diary. Otto Frank, here on the left, had a model made of the two floors that could inform visitors. Here he is talking with a man who made it. This model is still on display in the museum, and people look at it gladly. Later on, around 1960, a slideshow was made to illustrate the interior of the house, and photographs show the building before it became a museum. So here's the helper's staircase. Here's the entrance without the bookcase, and here is the room of Anne Frank. On the left, the wall with pictures was cut off because the building was still not sure whether the building would be in place, and Otto wanted to keep those pictures for later. Later on, and now I'm talking about 15 years later, the Anne Frank house made cross sections of the building and also a cardboard model. So this is with interior, this is without. And here is a cardboard model. Especially young children and school children like to have a good look at how it is, how it looks like. A real breakthrough came in 1998 when the Anne Frank House and the innovative digital agency Lost Boys created a 3D representation of the interior of the building on a CD-ROM. And the title says Anne Frank House, a house with a story. And it was published in Dutch, English, and German. Every room was photographed with fisheye lenses. The photographs were transformed into a 3D room on the screen. And this representation was also the user interface, which was a digital tour de force for that time. You could navigate from one room to another and press on hotspots to get videos or slideshows. This CD-ROM was shown on stations in the museum itself. The museum didn't really copy the current interior of the rooms, but refurbished them with furniture and objects to give an impression of how it could have looked in wartime. After the arrest in 1944, everything in the annex was taken out by Nazi collaborators, like they did with all positions of all arrested Jews. And Otto Frank wanted to keep the rooms empty after they were open to the public. For him, this emptiness had meaning. It stood for his loss. So the CD-ROM is not just a representation of the museum or the hiding place. It is actually a reconstruction of the place. You see furniture that could have been there. We don't have any originals. Since then, and now I'm talking about 1999, nothing actually has changed much, except for the technology, which has improved, and then especially for visual quality. The CD-ROM was followed by an online version with better visual quality in 2010. And here you see, for instance, the street level, which was reconstructed as well. Here you see the room of Anne Frank again. And the nice thing about the online annex is that it helps to reach those who can't come to Amsterdam or can't come to the Anne Frank house because of distance, money to travel, or because the museum is sold out. This has been followed by the current version, and that's been online since 2019. This is made by Make in Media and in 2018. And this version is different because it is rightfully an entirely virtual representation. You don't see photography, but images from 3D software rendering. The images were made for the VR app for Oculus. The company Forcefield wanted to make a showcase of their craftsmanship, and it was subsidized by Oculus as well to show the world its qualities. Well, and they succeeded rather well, to put it mildly. The imagery is crisp and detailed, and it's much better than the photography we used before. Here you see a glimpse of what you see when you look in the VR app in the Frank family room. We added sound effects and quotes from the diary.
We always look forward to those Saturdays because that's when the books arrive. Normal people don't know how much books mean to someone who is locked up. Reading, studying, and the radio are our only distractions.
Just giving you that 3-minute warning.
Oh, it's getting late. I skipped this one. This is another peek inside. Here you see the quality of it. It costs a lot of time, and this means that it's very expensive. And we only reconstructed the hiding place rooms, which are about 9 rooms. We don't have the financial power to finance this. And we can only be grateful for the support we have by the companies and the Dutch lottery. When we have so few time, I have to end with this video. This shows the Oculus Quest version that's most recent.
So today, we're going to do something truly immersive as far as VR is concerned. We're going to take the Anne Frank House VR experience running on Oculus Quest, and we're going to take it into one of the actual rooms in the Anne Frank House Museum.
When Otto Frank returned after the war as a sole survivor, he found the secret annex completely ransacked. When the hiding place became a museum, Otto Frank wanted the secret annex to stay empty, without any furniture.
We had to fill the empty rooms with images of the original furniture, objects and decorations. Fortunately, Anne gave a lot of descriptions in her diary of what the secret annex looked like, and Otto Frank also had a pretty good recollection of what was where in the annex. So together with the Anne Frank house, we faithfully recreated what the annex must have looked like back then. So now, for the first time ever, we're back at the original location where our project started, with the room scale experience on Oculus Quest, allowing us to fill the empty rooms with the virtual images that we created.
But this gives me a whole new experience walking around here. It's really special to see the room as it was and feel somehow present in the past.
Our team of artists created all the objects in the house in extremely high detail so that you can inspect it from up close. That means, for example, in Anne's room that you can go up to every picture because we scanned all of them in. It's really amazing that you can literally feel the actual wall, take the picture and take it off the wall. It's simply mind-blowing to be in the actual room where it all started and see it in its original state.
This is probably the most immersive thing I've ever done with any of our VR experiences.